then we'll get started. So my name is Pete Karianis. I work for US Chess. I'm our Assistant Director of Events. I will be there on site in Orlando. Joining me in Orlando will be also 4 other people you see on the call here. We have Mike Hoffpower, who is our Executive Board Liaison. He'll also be at Chess Control. We've got Charles Hatherill, who is our floor chief in Orlando. And we've also got our Chief Tournament Director, Jeff Smith, who is on the call as well. So all of those persons will be with us in Orlando as well. We're going to do 3 things today. We've basically just got 3 items on the agenda. We're going to get through those, and then we will have question and answer at the end. So if you have any issues at all, whatsoever, whatever they might be, you can save those, put them in the chat until the end of our brief little presentation here. So the 3 goals on our agenda, very simple. First, we're going to talk about tournament webpage functionality. That's goal number 1. There's a lot of important stuff to know about on the webpage for the tournament. So that is the number 1 item we're going to talk about. Number 2, we're going to visit the site in Orlando, virtually, of course. So we're going to take a quick look at the floor plan, the layout, along with the schedule. We'll put those side by side so you can see where everything is. And then third and finally, I'm going to show you guys and briefly go through the new player guide, just highlight a few critical points there. We're not going to go through the whole thing today because you can look at it yourself anytime. It's right there on the website. You can download it, check it out, share it with your friends, players, coaches, whoever's attending. So let's get started. The tournament website, all of you have probably seen it because this is most likely where you signed up for the tournament, right here under the register online selection. The tournament website has a lot of useful information on there. If I had to guess based on the emails I answer pre-event with parents and coaches and everyone else who have questions, most people probably only check out about 10% of this page, which is fine, but there's a lot of useful content and information here which I want to draw your attention to. First, the most common, by far, question that we get leading up to the tournament is, am I registered? Is everything okay? And you can check that out yourself. If you register online, it will automatically and instantaneously update our advanced entries page. So the first functionality I want you to be aware of about the web page is there is an advanced entry guide, okay? A list. You can check it out. You click here, and it's going to take you, oh, there we go. It's going to take you to the national entries page, okay, which is right here. All right. At the moment, we have just over 2,400 players. You can check by last name. So my last name starts with a K. I would click on K, and obviously they don't let me play in these things anymore. I'm a little too old, but you could look up your name right here to determine, hey, am I registered? As long as everything looks okay, grade, rating, name, etc., you're good to go. All you have to do is show up for round 1. Real simple. Okay. So again, advanced entries, you can check and confirm your own entry. If you're curious, you can also see other schools and teams that are coming from your state. Okay. So click on a state with a lot of teams coming. You can see what teams are coming. You can see how many players from those teams are participating in the event, and so on. Okay. So lots of useful information there. I think this is by far and away the most commonly asked question leading up to the tournament. Okay. Again, that's under advanced entries. Next, also on the registration page, another really important thing. Okay, up here, this section. Now, what I've got to do is I've got to make this 2022 so I can show you an example of what it's going to look like here. Okay, if we go to 2022, results and pairings right here. Okay, now that's going to pop up once the tournament starts. It's not going to pop up before the tournament, but once the tournament does start, you will be able to see your pairings for each game, as well as your results, both individual and team, posted right here. A very important website functionality. You can click on that. You can decide whether you want to look at pairings, standings, team standings, etc. It's all in the same location. You can pick your section. Okay, I'm in 4th grade. What are my 4th grade pairings? I'll show you the board number, the name, who's playing where, all that information. Okay. Now, obviously, right now, it doesn't show up because the tournament hasn't started. There have not been any pairings made, and there are no results to report. But once there are, it will appear here.
So, Pete, just to clarify for people, when he says the tournament starts, that'll be Thursday in the morning sometime, because we have Bug House on Thursday morning. So if you're only playing in the main tournament, the website will already be showing this advanced entries option that has the results and pairings. So you better click on results and pairings for the Friday morning round with the Friday round without any problem. It'll already be active by then.
Right. That's a good point. As you can see in this example here, you can also check the side event pairings and standings there too. I'm not seeing them offhand, but I do know that there are Bug House and there we go. All the side event pairings and results are also going to be posted there. Okay. Other important functionality. This is probably one that not a lot of people know about. I suspect this is the section of our website that gets regularly skipped over, but it's actually really important. Okay. Tournament rules right here. New to Nationals guide. We're going to go through that, but here's where you can find it. Okay. Complete schedule of events. This one is very useful, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second. We're going to put it side by side with the floor plan, the layout of the site, so you can walk through, okay, here's the schedule, here's what is where, and we'll look at that on the map too. Scholastic regulations. This is a big one. Okay, the scholastic regulations govern this event. If there's a question about anything related to the event, eligibility, hey, can I play? If so, what section can I play in? Etc. It's covered in the scholastic regulations. Okay, so familiarize yourself with those. Before we check out that schedule of events, which is really useful, and the playing area, I just want to show a couple more things on this page before I move on. Obviously, all the tournament information is here. Time control, that's game in 90 minutes with a 10-second delay. If you're new to reading a time control, game 90 D10. Okay. Entry fee, schedule. Please note the schedule for grades 2 through 12 is a little bit different than K1. Okay, it's a little bit different than K1. The awards, what awards are going to be given out, side event information, and last but not least, we also have guest Grandmaster Vladimir Georgiev coming. Apart from these accolades, I believe he was also the coach of the Bulgarian national team. And I think he also has at least one, maybe more than one student who's rated above 2,700, which is really quite the accomplishment. Grandmaster Georgiev is doing a couple things. He'll be giving a lecture, which is open to anyone, parents, coaches, friends, anyone can attend, okay, completely free. He's also doing an all-comers Blitz session. So if you want to play Grandmaster Georgiev in Blitz, you can do that. Again, totally free. Welcome. Anyone's welcome to come play. Those will both be on site, and the schedule will be posted very soon. Okay. We also have a Twitch stream. The link is right here. This is a great commentary team. They're very entertaining, but also you can learn a lot listening to their commentary. All right. I'm going to drop this link in chat really quick so that everybody knows exactly where to go to. Okay. That is exactly where to go to. Easy to find. Right. All right. Let's move on. Okay, I'm going to go to the schedule. So this schedule, again, I'll make it a little larger here, is posted on the tournament website. When I'm on site, I always have a tab with this open on my phone, so I can immediately look at it and know exactly what's going on where. So I just pop it open in a new tab on my smartphone, and I've got it available for any time I need to look at it. And it shows where everything is, as well as what time. Okay, and the location on site, which you can see here. Now, as I said, I'm going to kind of put this up with the, oh, did I link to 22? I'm so sorry. It's because I typed in 2022. Sorry about that. Good catch there, Joseph. So let's make sure that this goes to everyone. There you go. That's the site we're talking about. Okay, schedule here. It shows what's happening where, okay? I'm gonna pull up a floor plan of the convention meeting area in Orlando. Here it is, the Hyatt Regency lobby and convention levels. Now, if you look on the schedule, okay, the main playing hall, grades 2 through 12, is the Regency Ballroom. The K1 playing hall, so if you're in grades kindergarten or first grade only, you'll be playing in Windermere. Let's take a look at that. So here's the main ballroom, okay? This upper floor area has some team rooms, but the playing area is not actually up there. It's on the main level, okay? So Regency Ballroom is here. This is where the vast majority of participants are going to play. It will be a very full ballroom. We are pushing right up against our upper capacity limit for registrations. I expect them to be cut off anytime now. So we do have a full house. And the Regency Ballroom here will be the main playing hall for grades 2 through 12. Okay, this area over here, registration desk, you'll note on the schedule here, that's chess control. Chess control we'll talk about a little bit more as we get to the new to nationals guide. Chess control is where you go if you have any problem, question, concern, whatever it may be. You start at chess control. If they can't take care of it for you, they will know who can, and they will get you to that person. Okay. So again, Regency Ballroom, main playing hall. Windermere is K1. This half of Windermere, WX, I believe we're using both W and X actually. Although the entrance that the players will go through is in X. That's the K1 playing area. The other half, YZ, is the parent waiting area for the K1 players. We'll talk a little bit more about that when I can show you some pictures of what that looks like when we get to the new to nationals guide. Okay, but that's Windermere K1, Regency grades 2 through 12. Everybody else except K1, basically. Okay. A couple other things on the schedule here. Okay, the Skittles room. Please go use it. It's really useful. Lots of open space to review a game with your coach, play some practice games. Some of the special events like the Simul and the Take All Comers Blitz are going to be in Plaza GH, which is the Skittles room. Skittles room is such a useful resource. I can tell you when I used to play competitively, I spent a lot of time in the Skittles room. Where is that? That's Plaza GH right here. You'll notice it's just right down the street from the ballroom. This is not literally a street. This is the hotel. Right here, right next to the ballroom. Okay, right next to the main playing area. Please use the Skittles room. Avail yourself of that resource. Right? A couple other notable things, and then we'll move on. We do have a bookstore on site. So let me show you where that is. Okay, it's right here, Plaza I. They'll have useful things like a clock if you forgot your clock, pens and pencils. They also have some really fun stuff too. So please feel free to check it out. Speaking of equipment, we will provide boards and pieces as well as notation paper, okay? Notation sheets, paper to take notation on. You will provide everything else. So if you have a clock, bring it, okay? If you have a clock, bring it. If you don't have a clock, that's okay. You can play without one if your opponent happens to also not have a clock. You can also pick one up at the bookstore. And there are certain special cases where if the game is just going on too long, we will loan you a clock to finish the game. Okay. But
bring something to write with.
That's what I was about to say. Bring pens and pencils, bring clocks, boards and pieces will be provided, notation will be provided. Okay. We have some few, very small amount of extra pens and pencils, but notation is required and we can't loan one to someone every round. So bring something to write with. Okay. All right. I believe that's more or less the main points in terms of what you need to know, where everything is. Again, this schedule can be found right on the tournament website if you want to check it out yourself. Okay. I'll scroll down there again. Right here. Complete schedule of events. And really quickly, someone asked for, I believe, the floor plan. So I will drop that into the chat as well. There you go. So that will show you the floor plan as well, so you can kind of work out and be prepared for where you need to go. Okay, let's go through where's the parents waiting area? Good question. Before I tab away from this, I'll just show again. K1 parents waiting area is here. Grades 2 through 12. Set a meeting place. When your child's round is over, it's their job to come find you. The best possible waiting area is the Skittles room for grades 2 through 12. Set a meeting place somewhere in there. As you can see, here's the K2 through 12 playing hall. Kids can walk right out there and find you in the Skittles room. That's the best place. We will have the exits assigned. So we have 4 exit colors: red, white, blue, and black. So you will know what grades are coming out of what exit. So for example, grades 2 and 3, they'll come out the red exit doors over here. I don't know about that. I'm just making that up. We will have them very easily labeled on site. Grades 4 and 5 will come out the middle, 6, 7, 8 over here, 9 through 12 over here. So you will know what door your student is coming out of when their game is over, right? But in terms of a waiting area for parents 2 through 12, best place, use the Skittles room. Okay, use the Skittles room. There's lots of open space in there. There's tables and chairs, so you don't have to sit on the floor. Use the Skittles room. Okay. And as Mike is saying in chat, set a meeting place with your player. Make sure they know where to go when their game is done. The best possible meeting place is the Skittles room. All right, we're going to talk about a little more about that here. This is the New to Nationals guide. It's something our communications department put together for players who are coming to their first national event, or even if you're just a little bit new, you've only been to maybe 1 or 2, you're not quite sure how everything works. This is also available for download and viewing on the tournament website. New to Nationals guide right there. Okay. I will also put this link in the chat in case you want to go check it out. This is our New to Nationals guide. Couple of things I want to draw your attention to. Okay, very first one here. Behavior and spectator guidelines at national tournament events, national championship events. We have a closed playing floor. So what that means is while the games are in progress, so when Jeff starts the round, no one is allowed on the floor other than tournament directors and the players. Parents, coaches, friends, everybody else, other teammates. Well, when their game is over, other teammates got to go, okay? Only players and directors are allowed on the floor during the round. The hall is closed. Parents, you can't be in there. This is why it's important to set a meeting place for you and your child after their game is complete. This is why it's important to know what exit are they coming out of, what exit doors are they coming out of, okay? At the start of each round, the rounds are scheduled. At the start of each round, Jeff, who's in the call, will hop on the microphone. He'll say, hey, parents and coaches, it's time to leave the hall. We're going to start the round. What does that mean? Leave the hall. We know you want to get that last photo in. We know you want to have that, last whatever it may be, but we want to keep the tournament on schedule and on time. So it's very important to please follow those instructions. Okay. Safe play, our safe play policies. We take safe play very seriously. We want this to be a safe and fun environment for everyone. Okay. If you want to read a little bit more about safe play reporting and our measures that we have in place for that, you can do so here. There's a direct link to our guidelines as well as the U.S. Center for Safe Sport. I strongly encourage you guys to check that out. Very valuable information. Chess control.
And all TDs at the event will have taken that safe play training.
Correct. All staff will have taken safe sport training. In fact, we'll have a little yellow badge, which I had an example of, but I did not bring it with me. It'll be a little yellow badge, so you know exactly who you can reach out to if there's a problem. Okay, right on their name tag. You can see the name tags here. Kim is wearing one, and that name tag will have a nice little yellow badge on it that lets you know this person is a safe resource. Okay. Chess control. We talked about this. This is where you go with any questions, any problems, start there. There's a nice big banner, real easy to find. As Mr. Hoffpower was also stating in chat, chess control is where to tell your child to go if they get lost. Okay, it's really easy to find. It's really close to the playing hall. Use chess control. Scholastic regulations, we talked about those. Electronic device policy. Real simple. Don't have your phone turned on during the game. Don't have it on your person during the game. Turn it off, put it in your chest bag. Turn it off, put it face down on the table. Do not have it on or on your person during the game. Jeff, can you let them know what happens if the player has it on or on their person during the game?
So one correction, face up on the
Oh,
table.
sorry.
But the penalties are 30 minutes, loss of 30-minute penalty, or half your time, or the loss of your game. If you're actively using the phone, your game will be forfeit.
Something else that everyone should know about with regard to phones. Last year, we received lots of complaints from players that other players, as soon as they finished their games, would, fire up their phones and start calling people from inside the tournament hall. So as they're walking past the row of boards, somebody's talking on their phone, telling mom and dad or coaches or friends how they did in their last game. If you do that, you're subject to penalties. So leave your phone off and don't even text. Don't use your phone or anything until you exit the playing hall. Jeff, I'd invite you to add anything to that if you need to.
Yes, very, very, very correct. So if you use your phone, even if your game is done, there is a penalty. You will be penalized in your next round by loss of time on your clock. If it's the final round, you're still going to get a penalty that will be tiebreak points. So just make sure your phone is turned off until you are through the exit. Very, very important.
Okay, thank you guys. Very important rule. Really quickly, I just want to go back. We had someone ask to see again where chess control is going to be located. So I'll pull up that floor plan one more time. There's a registration desk right here, which is literally right outside the playing hall. And that's where chess control will be. Okay, it'll be super easy to find. It's a nice and central location. Very easy to find chess control. Scheduled rounds, we talked about that. The schedule is posted on the website. Okay. Rounds start at those times. Be there. That's when the game is going to start. Okay. It's not an ASAP round. So like whenever everybody's done, it's scheduled. Playing hall, we talked about this. It's closed playing hall. Okay. Good advice here. Try to arrive there at least 10 minutes before the round begins. That way, in case you run into any issue like traffic or parking or who knows what, you can still get there in time. Okay. Result slips. This is a really big one. Result slips are the only record we have of what happened in a game. The only record we have of what happened in a game. What happens is when the game is over, the players will fill out the result. So they'll circle white one, draw black one. They will sign it. They will raise their hands, wait for a director to come over. The director will verify the result. He will ask both players, do you agree with this result? Do you agree with this result? If both players agree, they will sign the result slip and turn in the result slip. Once we have a completed result slip, that game result is final. Okay. Can't come back later and say, oh, actually I won. I don't know why I signed it. This is the only record we have of the game. So make sure we get these correct. The most common mistake I see is players put their name under the wrong color. So Mike was actually playing white, but he accidentally wrote his name under black. And then we circled the wrong color because we know black won, but the players put their name in the wrong spot. Okay. This is a very, very common mistake. So double check, triple check, make sure you have the result slip filled out correctly.
So for the younger players, parents, you can help get your player get this pre-filled out when you get to the board. To put your player's name on the correct side for either black or white. The other reason why Pete's telling you about this is if your kid shows up with this in their hand at the Skittles room or back at the hotel room or walking down the hall with it, that has to be turned into the tournament directors, because like Pete said, that's the only way we know the result. Because when we don't know the result, we have to try to track you down and find you. And if we can't find you by the time the round starts, Jeff is either going to guess at what the result was, or he's going to just call it a draw and they'll figure it out later. But
or worse, double forfeit.
Yeah, or that's why knowing these results is important.
Right. And Mike points out, parents, you can feel free to help your kids fill out that top section particularly if they are younger. However, do not have them sign it until they have reported the result. A TD should be viewing that. If they sign it beforehand and the opponent circles that they won when your player won, that can cause a problem.
Right. Okay. All right. Another important piece of paper, notation requirement. Okay. Notation is required. We provide those score sheets for you. So if you have your own score book from home, you are not allowed to use that at this event. Keep it out of the playing. Okay. We will provide score sheets for you. You are required to notate and you are required to use the score sheets that we provide. Now you can see an example of the ones that we provide by visiting this guide and clicking right here. And we'll show you the beginner score sheet that we have for players in the K1 section, where all they have to do is mark the piece, the letter, and the number. It's very easy. Just circle the king, move to C4, whatever. Okay, incredibly simple. So you can check that out. You can print them off. You can practice with your player before coming if you desire. The other notation sheets that we provide are just a standard score sheet, look very similar to this. Okay, and as Mike is pointing out, if you are in grades 3 or above, you are required to notate. It is not an option. Okay, grades K1 and 2 do not have to notate, but it is strongly encouraged that they do, especially because we have the beginner score sheets. Why is it strongly encouraged? Really simple. In case there's a dispute during the game, the notation sheet gives us, the directors, a record of what happened. For example, if one of our directors gets to the board and, hey, a couple pieces have been knocked over and he says they won, he says I won, or hey, this player says he actually moved the piece here 5 moves ago, and this player says, no, I moved it there 5 moves ago. Well, if we have a written record of what occurred, that helps us solve disputes. If only one player is notating and the other player is not, a written record is probably going to be pretty powerful evidence in favor of what actually happened. Okay, so notate. Notation is required in grades 3 and above. Okay, if you're not familiar with notating and need some practice, there's a primer for notation linked in the New to Nationals guide itself, and it takes you right here to Wikipedia, which will walk you through exactly what to do. Okay. Player list pairings and standings, we covered this. This will be posted on the website. You can check your players, you can check the pairings, and you can check the standings directly online. Okay. Swiss system pairings. This is how we pair the event. You can read more about it within the New to Nationals guide if you like. Essentially, the way it works is all players within a score group, they're divided up into their score groups. So like all players with 1, the top half will play the bottom half. So if there are 20 players in the score group, number 1 will play number 11, number 2 will play number 12, number 3 will play number 13, and so on and so forth. Food and drinks, we actually have relaxed our restrictions. During COVID, we were not allowing them. This is a little bit outdated. Food and drinks are allowed. You can bring in a bottle of water, you can bring in a simple snack. Please don't bring in chicken parmesan or a gigantic bowl of soup. Okay, be reasonable about the snacks that you send your players in with. Also, please do not bring in any snacks with nuts in them. Okay, we want to avoid any nut allergy incidents. So simple snacks, something that's not going to make a huge mess. Bottles of water, that's allowed. Award ceremony will happen immediately, as quickly as possible after the last round is concluded. We try to expedite this. We try to get our results taken care of as quickly as possible, posted, and get the show on the road for the award ceremony. We understand that you might have a flight to catch. You might need to get home for school the next day. So we'll try to get that taken care of as quickly as possible. If you cannot stay for the award ceremony, but you did win an award, you can ask for that award to be shipped to you. On the tournament website that I showed you earlier, there is a link right here. You can click it. It's a simple trophy claim form. You can download it, you can fill it out, and it will show you exactly what to do to get your trophy shipped to you. So if you can't stay for the awards for whatever reason, no worries. There's an option in place to deal with that. Okay. Scrolling down a bit. Team rooms, if your team requested a room, they have already been assigned. All of the team rooms are sold out now, so don't worry about it if you haven't. For team room information, that's also on the page here. For future events, we do have a team room email list if you want to join that, and maybe reserve a team room for your team at future events. You can let us know, and we will send you that link. For any queries like that or any problems at all, I'm typing an email into the chat right now. This is who you need to contact. Okay. Any concerns? Hey, I want to be added to the team room email list. Hey, I attended the meeting and I still have a question. Use that email. Skittles room, we discussed that.
Pete, is that the same email address I use? Like if my son or daughter, or if I am diabetic and I'm wearing a monitor and my cell phone needs to stay on at all times so I can monitor my blood glucose, is that the email address I'm supposed to use?
Yes. Any special cases like that, whatever it may be, if you need a special accommodation, use that. Any questions you might have about the event, whatever it might be, use that. That inbox is monitored by multiple US chess personnel. So for example, if I'm out of the office, if I'm traveling to the tournament, whatever it might be, someone will see it and get back to you. Use that for any questions about the tournament.
And if you do need special accommodations, please send that in as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're actually past the deadline for that, but we will do the best we can to accommodate you. Okay. We have a published notice on the website that any special accommodations or circumstance requests require a 3-week before the event. You need to submit it 3 weeks before the event. We're past that now, but if you do happen to have one, we'll do our best to try to accommodate it. Okay. K1 waiting area. This is what I was referring to earlier. So again, on the floor plan, K1, kids are going to play in this area, WX. Parents are going to wait in this area, YZ. Here's what it looks like. Okay, the kids are playing in their room. So I'm going to walk you through a K1 round. You go in with your K1 player, you help them fill out the result slip. Don't sign it. You give them a wristband with your phone number or contact information on it. Make sure that it's correct. Make sure that it's attached to your player. The player sits down to play. There's their special scorebook, and you leave. You go to the parent waiting area. The kids finish their game, report their score, hand in their result slip, and a tournament director staff escorts them to the holding area, which will look almost exactly like this. You can see on the floor plan, there's like a little narrow row here in between the two ballrooms. So it's going to look almost exactly like this. The kids wait in this waiting area while our staff goes out and says, okay, I've got insert player name here. Parent comes, claims the child, rinse and repeat. Okay, we take safety very seriously for our youngest players.
What I've run this is Mike Hoffbar. I've run the K1 section multiple times in our national events. And something that I see parents doing that I highly discourage is they just leave their player there and tell the player, borrow a phone and call me when your game is finished. And I've seen players sit there 2 hours waiting, because the parent doesn't answer the phone or the kid's got the wrong phone number, or something. So I highly recommend against just giving your player instruction that says, well, borrow a phone and call me when you're done, because that not only puts extra burden on the tournament staff, because we're trying to get other children handed back off to parents or coaches, but it also, gets that kid pretty upset, like can't get a hold of mom or dad, doesn't know what's going on, and so forth. So I strongly discourage that.
I will second what Mike has said, having worked in K1 numerous times as well. There are incidents where the kids get distressed because of they're losing a game or something upsets them, or on occasion they even have an accident. In those cases, it's critical that we have a parent that's close by that we can reach. So please, as Mike said, be available.
Yeah, thanks guys. Excellent advice. It's a really simple system. Be available. K1 games don't last that long. We will always have ample seating for all of the parents. Okay. Okay, I believe that's it in terms of our primary presentation. If you want to read more, again, I've posted every link that I've shown you tonight in chat. It's easily accessible. It's available to everyone. So if you do want to go in depth and a little more detail about any of the topics we covered, all the links are there for you guys in the chat to check it out. I will open the floor for questions. I saw a couple come in, but it looks like Mike was able to answer them. Thank you, Mike. If you have questions, now is the time to
emphasize
ask.
again about pairings, because there were questions about, are there going to be paper copies, or we're going to get texted for the pairings, et cetera. So.
Okay, so a question here about tournament parking. Yes, there is a parking fee. There is both a self-park option as well as valet at the Hyatt. I don't know exactly what the fee is, but there is one. How much more registration do you expect? Not very much. We are already actually past our initial announced cap. Let me find the exact cap. I know it's posted here. Yes, attendance cap. We're actually past this number. If you were to go and count up all the players that are registered in grades 2 through 12, you'll note that we are past this number, but we believe we can accommodate just a few more tables. So we are going to allow slightly over cap attendance, but not much. How much more registration do I expect? Not very much at all. So if players want to play, they need to register like immediately, because we are right up against that attendance cap.
And something else that's important, you can't bring extra players with you and come get them signed up for the tournament at Chess Control. That will not be allowed. There will be no signups for the main tournament at Chess Control. The only on-site signups that will be allowed will be Bughouse and Blitz. That's it.
Right.
But no on-site for the main event, and not even substitutions. So if Sally is sick and was going to play, but now Johnny's going to come and replace Sally, you cannot replace Johnny for Sally. That will not even be allowed. So it's only the players that are registered by the cutoff period. And if you have players that go to your school that haven't registered yet, they're treading on very thin ground now. The ice is real thin, so they need to get registered like as soon as possible.
Just a quick question here from Charles. What about players' behavior after leaving the hall? Look, the players themselves, as well as their coaches, parents, family, guardians, whoever is supervising them, chaperones, they're responsible for their behavior after leaving the hall. We do not want a scenario where we have to remove a player from the main tournament for something that they did in the hallways. Okay, playing too roughly, breaking. We had players break convention center part of the structure. Okay, please find a healthy activity for your players to do in between rounds. Make sure they are supervised. Okay, you're responsible for the supervision and behavior of your player. I do not want to have to remove anyone from the tournament because of something they were doing in between games. We don't want to have to remove anyone from the tournament, period, but especially not for something that they were doing in between games. Okay, how soon should I sign up for Troops Plus? So again, Aishwarya, the great question. I would not worry about filling out the Trophies Plus trophy claim form until you're sure you've won a trophy. So let's say you've won a trophy, you can't attend the ceremony. You could even fill it out the next day. You could fill it out Monday and they will still ship it to you. So you have plenty of time on that. Just wait to see, okay, did we win something? We did, great. I'm going to fill out this form, in the next day or two and get it sent off, and the trophy will be shipped to you. There's no rush on that. Don't wait forever, but if it's a day or two afterwards, no big deal. Okay, no big deal. Yeah, just to reiterate, on top of the point I was just making about, supervising your players and making sure that they're doing the right thing in between games, a big part of that is making sure they know where you are. Okay, so if you have a K1 player, make sure you're in that K1 waiting room. If you have another player, set a meeting point, make sure they know where to go, set that meeting point, know what door they're coming out of, know what exit door they're coming out of. We have this very useful exit door system, color-coded, so it's easy to find where they're going to be leaving the hall from.
Pete, I want to introduce Robert McKenzie. Many of you can see Robert's picture in the, he's got the yellow shirt on. There's Robert there live now. But Robert is the Scholastic Council representative to the tournament, and Robert will be visiting all the players in the Skittles Hall and in the team rooms. We'll be, walking around throughout the tournament, getting your feedback on the event. And Robert will also be running the Scholastic meeting that occurs during the tournament on Saturday. So, look out for Robert, but he's the person to to talk with if you got some feedback about the event and you're not able to get lucky and bump into Pete in the hallways or Jeff, who will both be extremely busy. But that's what Robert attends the event specifically to get feedback and to run that Scholastic Council meeting.
Thank you. I'm very approachable. You can walk up to me. I'll be going around trying to help out any way I can, but you can come up to me and I'll take any of your concerns. As soon as I get a hold of any body that can address them, I will. And plus I do a report at the end and give feedback to the Scholastic Council and the executive board regarding any concerns you had about the tournament. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being there, Robert. That Scholastic meeting that Mike referenced is open. It's not a closed meeting. You can go and sit in on it, listen and ask questions. It's open. I've brought it up here on the schedule. It's Saturday at 2:15. Okay. So feel free to drop in if you're a parent or a coach. Just kind of listen in, or if you want, offer some feedback there. That's an open meeting. Question about the standings. We use tiebreakers for the standings. Okay. So I can give you an example by pulling up the 2022 page. Yes, the rules link on the website will go really in depth about this, as Charles is stating there. But just to give you an example, you can see the tiebreakers if you look at the results from 2022. So tiebreak 1. So these are the two different tiebreaks that are used. Essentially, the tiebreakers boil down to how well did my opponents do? How strong of a performance did my opponents put on? Is essentially what the tiebreakers break down to. Okay, but you can read in depth about them via the rules page, as well as the Scholastic regulations, I believe, has some information on them as well. Good question, Christian. Any other questions? If you have any, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, I am one more time going to put in the email, nationalevents@uschess.org. If you have a question or concern, special accommodation, if you want to be added to the team room email list, send it to that. nationalevents@uschess.org. Parking. There is parking on site at the Hyatt. There is a fee. I don't know what that fee is, but there is a fee for self-park as well as valet parking at the Hyatt. There is parking available on site. Okay. Okay, any further questions? Sure thing. If you do have any, hey, 20 minutes from now, you're like, oh, I should ask that, use that email address, nationalevents@uschess.org. That email address is published. It's published on the website. Right there. Okay. Use that email for any questions you have. Okay. Jeff, thank you very much for the for the rules document, which covers tie breaks more in depth as well. So if you want a thorough understanding of how tie breaks work, you're welcome to follow that, peruse that at your leisure, and it will explain exactly what we look at in establishing the tie breaks and the order of priority of the tie breaks as well. All right, thanks everyone for attending. Mike, Jeff, Charles, before I close the call, do you have any final thoughts you wanted to share?
I just want to wish all the players good luck and look forward to seeing you at the tournament. I'll be in chess control.
Yep, I hope you enjoy it. If you do have any questions or any concerns, please raise it to the staff. We're there to help you.
Robert, anything?
Good chess control.
Yeah, definitely. I'm here to help any way I can. See you there. Safe travels.
Awesome. Well, Robert, Jeff, Charles, Mike, thank you guys for being on the call with me. I appreciate you all being here. I will see all of you in Orlando, and I'll see all the players and parents in Orlando too. Take care, everybody.
All right.